When you buy islandproject.com, you can just tell all your friends and come visit your beachfront property that you own. It's not a timeshare. Timeshares offer no capital gains, no income, and no true ownership, and they offer zero tokenization. It's not an investment. When you buy a timeshare, which we don't sell, timeshares are terrible. I would tell you never to buy a timeshare. Timeshares, which you can't get out of, that have no liquidity, are just time. So we're not a timeshare. When you own Island Project, you're a real, true, 100% democratized investor in the number one portfolio in the world, and you own beachfront properties, which you can visit, touch, participate in, earn income, large capital gains, and in addition to that, as we tokenize, you have unlimited upside. And so I've said this for years, the whole point of getting rich in Bitcoin is to buy real assets. The whole point of getting rich is to go buy beachfront. The whole point of becoming a millionaire is then to take that money and buy real assets with it, like what Island Project already owns. So why wait when you can buy a guaranteed investment like Island Project that also has unlimited upside on the tokenization? Now, of course, there's financial risk. I have to say that, but we don't have any debt, so there's very limited downside. You know, read our terms and disclaimers. But I mean, again, it's a physical asset. You can't lose. And then there's unlimited upside. Even if we never tokenized, let's just take that out of the equation, you're still making a ton of money on a highly appreciating portfolio that's already worth, this is my dad's opinion, over hundreds of millions of dollars. Because just the pure real estate play is worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars by itself, even without tokenization. So as the property portfolio just appreciates over 10, 20, 30 years as a legacy asset, you'll 10x your money just on the base real estate. Like, do you see how powerful this is? There's dog coins trading at billions of dollars, and Pepe the Frog is worth billions of dollars backed by nothing that produces no cash flows, that doesn't own anything. So when we tokenize, the value of that token will be fully backed by the underlying appraised value of not just ownership rights, but also the cash flows, just like a stock. Stocks are priced at the discounted cash flows of the company's future performance and expected returns, proprietary technology, infrastructure, team, management, asset base. It's no different with Island Project. We're just tokenizing it, and we're the first people in the world to do it, way ahead of anybody else. As I spoke to you yesterday, we've already had inquiries for, buyouts for part of the portfolio for hundreds of millions of dollars, which we're not selling because we already have the product and we've already have the provable concept. In the tech space, it's very common, for example, when you come up with an idea first and then you pull off the idea and you start having amazing success, typically that's when all the big, large multinationals come in and they buy you out in the tech space. So we could already sell. Like we could have already sold a month ago for $150 million if we wanted to and just cash out because we're that early, but we're not doing that because we have a multi-billion-dollar investment. And now we have on the docket active acquisitions internationally in places like Bali and Thailand. That portfolio, which is a real-world asset with no bank debt, is then going to be tokenized and it's going to go public and trade just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other technologies that many of you are familiar with that are now publicly trading on Wall Street. Like, BlackRock, for example, sells exchange-traded funds of Bitcoin, even though after they called it a scam years ago when I told you to buy it. I told you that that was going to happen. We're also seeing big players move into the space, not just into real estate, but even Donald Trump and his family are moving into blockchain technology, another sign that we're way ahead of the curve. And we are all set to profit 1,000x from first mover advantage and the fact that we've already built the ship. We've already built the new digital Noah's Ark, and we already own all the properties, and we're already, generating all the gains. And now we'll be tokenizing in front of the largest technological shift in the world. Now, of course, this will all play into AI. So we've positioned as the Ark and have built our own infrastructure. We have built our own ecosystem. We are building our own currency because you see, Island Project on its blockchain will be its own tradable currency. So our members will be able to use that in the future for stays, for owning property outside of the system in a decentralized fashion. You must understand one of the beautiful things about the technology of decentralization is that it's impossible to control through authoritarian means systems that are outside of their hands. So, for example, a lot of you have heard of like Uniswap before. Many of you haven't. I've taught about this for years at my courses, at my world-class schools. But even if a government, say, closed down Uniswap, a new one would open up the next day. And if they close that one down, a new one would pop up the next day, and then another one would pop up. They can't stop it because these systems operate on DEXs. Same thing with Bitcoin. They can't stop Bitcoin, and this is why I told you that they would co-opt it in the future, which they've done, and then it would just go mainstream. Then we would just start buying political power with all of our new wealth, which we now have. I mean, 50% of all Trump's funding is now coming from Bitcoin millionaires and billionaires like myself and you tuning in. So all my members own the best real estate in the world. That's pretty easy to understand. It produces cash flows every single year paid to our investors, and also all capital gains. So it includes 100% true ownership of the asset class, diversified. We've welcomed aboard dozens of new members. And I also wanted to mention Lance, who just came in yesterday with 50 grand. God bless you, sir. Lance Williams just came in with 50K, 50 units. Doug Triplett just came in from Pennsylvania. Annette Reeves spoke with you yesterday out of Texas. Frankie Inglezos, God bless you. Timothy Barnes, who's DCA'd. Great guy. I've spoken with Tim direct a number of times. He's a blue-collar guy, butt kicker, really good person, huge American patriot. Of course, loves what we're doing and what we're building. Jose Navarrete out of Texas, our largest state. Darius Pratt. Andrew from Wisconsin. Talerzik, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Tim Simonin, a brand new investor from Ohio. Cindy Cogbill, long-term investor, just DCA'd more. And David Westmoreland, new investor, one of my good friend Brad Pitt's friends from Missouri. I want to welcome all of you aboard our amazing project. Now, again, to learn about that and to onboard with your first 30 units, just simply contact my father at 808-442-2934. You can also fill out a quick 5-minute, no obligation application at islandproject.com. Fill it out to the best of your ability in the members tab, and you can fund directly immediately to lock and load your first 30 units to make sure you get into this world-class founders round before we launch, go public, and tokenize, of course, the project. So what we're doing with our real estate portfolio is we're tokenizing it. So a very simple idea. All of our members own diversified real estate of what you see behind me, $5 million plus properties in Maui and Oahu, already acquired, already owned. You get all the property detail information as well as confirmation of your legal investment from our website and my father. And in addition to that, gets all the benefits of true ownership, cash flows, dividends paid annually, which start in 2025, just like you would if you owned a dividend stock. Some use, that's really cool. You can actually use our properties. And we just added a brand new state in Park City, Utah. We just successfully closed on a $5.95 million. It's actually appraised now at $6.2 million just in the last few months since we closed in Deer Valley. And now we have on the docket active acquisitions internationally in places like Bali and Thailand. That portfolio, which is a real world asset with no bank debt, is then going to be tokenized, and it's going to go public and trade just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other technologies that many of you are familiar with that are now publicly trading on Wall Street.